So we have had so many points on purity, and today is August the 30th, and we've come to the end of this topic of purity, but not the end, actually it's a beginning. So when Sister Mohini was saying what's the color that she would like to be, I was going, be the rainbow, Sister Mohini, because the rainbow has 7 colors and the rainbow rises up to brilliant white. So I think if we choose to be the rainbow, then we'll choose to be the 7 colors. And when the 7 colors come together, it elevates us to the angelic color, the color of white. So choose to be the rainbow. Sister Marie, today I come to you with good news. Someone sent me an email giving me the certificate of contentment, 100%. So I was so lucky. My respect was saved that on the last day of the 30 days, I got a certificate of contentment. So thank you, dear sister, for doing that. But I also come to you with curiosity. And my curiosity is connected to this personality of purity and the role of purity in your life, particularly as a trance messenger. Daddy Gulzar, and I want to connect it to Daddy Gulzar to understand. I remember that when I'm very curious about the subtle region, and there are 2 things I remember. One is when you would go into trance to bring messages in my early days when we used to be in Astoria, I used to literally sit in front of you and I used to try to travel with you. And then you would disappear and I would be left here. You would go into trance and I would be left here and say, why can I not go where she's going? And that used to bother me a little bit because I used to feel there's some impurity keeping me from not doing that. And then I went to Daddy Gulzar and I asked her the question. I said to her, go to Baba and tell Baba I want to come into trance. I really want to experience him in the subtle regions. I want to know what he looks like as an angel. And she said, okay. And she came back and she didn't say anything to me. So the first day she didn't say anything. Then the second day she didn't say anything. So the third day I went to her. I said, well, Daddy, did you give Baba my message? She said, yes. And I said, well, when is he going to call me? He said, tell Gayatri she thinks too much. And if she would stop thinking, maybe one day she would have that experience. So the curiosity I have, Sister Mohini, that one of the greatest gifts of purity that you receive from Baba is the gift of being a trance messenger. And I am sure that Daddy Gulzar also inspired you. She was a trance messenger. You were a trance messenger. Sandeshi Daddy was a trance messenger. There were so many trance messengers, but you were the outstanding ones. And my question to you is, what did Daddy Gulzar, knowing that she was a trance messenger and you were a trance messenger, and I know Baba is the one who pulls you into trance, it's not a choice. But what did Daddy Gulzar inspired in you? What was the purity that you saw in Daddy Gulzar, being a trance messenger yourself, that inspired you in whatever it takes to be this trance messenger? And by whatever it takes, I am feeling that it takes a tremendous amount of cleanliness and of clarity to be pulled into trance. Now, we're all depending on you for so many messages. When you're going to offer Bhog to Baba, bring a message, do this, do that. How can we, if we can't even go into trance, but how can we be inspired by you the way you were inspired by Daddy Gulzar, by that cleanliness and that clarity?
One of the, when I kind of start having visions first and then messages, I think it was Brahma Baba or one of the Dadi said that don't use it for your own self, in the sense of, like many will say, oh, you can go and ask Baba about this, but I never did it. But also, this requires purity of intellect. That means don't allow any impressions, influences. We hear so many things. Like I will hear everything in the world or UN, but I don't kind of mix that information in my intellect. That means with the knowledge or with remembrance of Baba. Because we have here so many opinions, right? There are so many things people say, but don't allow that to stay in your intellect. Let intellect be very pure and doesn't carry anything. So when I sit here, even I have come maybe, from midst of many things, but within 1 second, I could just be with Baba, in the sense of there is nothing else. There is nothing in the intellect. No image, no voice, no opinion, nothing. So I think purity of intellect is very important. And for that, not carry anything, carry any impression about anyone, carry anything from the past. And then next, it becomes habit after some time. Now, when I look at Dadi Gulzar, you all know that she was very serene, very serene. You could see from her face, in a way, innocent also. She will keep listening to you for 1 hour, your news or anything, but she just smiles, right? So whatever she's listening get merged in her. I think what she's like, one day before Baba comes, we go and talk to her, I think she feels Baba heard. Baba is hearing. So it has gone to Baba. She doesn't have to remember everything. So I think the faculty, that pure intellect, is very important. Now, as you were saying in Astoria, you went up to certain level. Actually, it could happen that if you really sit while Bhog is being offered properly, you will get few thoughts. And when you will listen to message, you will connect. Those few thoughts are part of the message. Because maybe you couldn't take full message, but because Baba is the one who is giving message, so anyone's intellect, just like radio, television, to take from. So Baba is telling me, but everyone can actually feel it, or even few thoughts. I remember that when Baba is about to come, I will always sit and I'm really with Baba, and I get few thoughts, and I know that's going to be the morning. These days, what happened, not now, but people get up, go up here. There's a lot of, there is never like completely quiet. But at least when Baba is about to come and everything has settled, you could feel it. So what I would just say, that purity of intellect is very important. Don't allow it to be influenced by anything, even as far as information, it might be right, but I don't need to put it in my head, I don't need to put it in my intellect. So that is one thing I pay. And then, as I said, sometimes around also a lot activity is going on. Flowers are being put, Bhog is, but I am already kind of pulled, and I take my intellect in remembrance of Baba. And I'm seeing, observing, but like today, purity point was You see it, but still don't see. You hear, but still don't hear. So it's like you want to protect your purity of intellect and not anyone's nature. I like when Baba said the anyone's weak sanskar shouldn't influence you. And then recently I'd been enjoying a lot. Okay, everyone has part to play. So let's enjoy it, Be very, very joyful. So what I would say, what is required is purity of intellect means only God's knowledge. And through that knowledge, remembrance, and pure relationship with Baba. And for that, like sometimes you have to be very strong in the sense of, no, I'm not taking anything. So you remain light, but also pure. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, it does, because what you're doing is you're telling us how we should sit on Thursdays when Bhog is being offered. And I think that is so important for us to understand. It's not just you going to Baba and bringing a message, but I'm coming now to this abject feelings that if I am just wandering around while you're offering Bhog and I'm not also sitting with Baba, even if you tell me those words, my intellect won't receive it because my intellect wasn't connected to Baba at the time he was giving you the message. So I wasn't able to receive the abject feelings before you told me the words. Now, this is where I'm coming to ask you about abject feelings. When you go to the subtle regions and you are in front of Baba, and Baba is giving you messages that he's saying, tell the children this. Some he sends specific messages to, some he sends general, but he's giving it to all of us. Does he fill you with those abject feelings that then create the words that you speak? So are they the feelings that are left within you that then emerge out of you as words? And does he also invoke, now I'm asking you a lot of detailed questions, does he also invoke us who are paying attention for our intellects to be clean at the time we are offering him Bhog with you? Does he also invoke us up there and fill us with those feelings so that when you express those words of his message, our feelings are touched? Is that what abject feelings are all about?
Yeah. See, when I go, first is drishti sharing. And when I say sharing means I am taking, Baba is giving, it's like I always say drishti sharing. And it's first Baba is looking at the gathering, all those who are there. And then Baba is individually, it's like sharing drishti. In that drishti, lot happens. When I say it like, drishti also sometimes becomes like Baba's hand, like he's removing the obstacles. He's saying, child, everything will be okay. And I could just feel it, the way Baba doing with each one. Sometimes I'm not seeing everyone, but that's what he does basically. Remove something and bestow something and make everyone full. And then after accepting Bhog, now whatever Baba did was between the soul and God, right? I don't really go in that. But then Baba starts sharing. Now, is what Baba is sharing, it comes in the form of thoughts in me. That means from Baba's thoughts, he's transferring those thoughts because there is no sound there, right? But it's so clear communication, very clear. And that is, so if you are not pure, you will doubt that, did Baba say this or is in my mind? Did I am making it, if it's not right, what will happen? Subtly, there is lack of purity, you won't have that trust in the message. That means when you are giving message, you yourself not sure this is Baba said or, but so that is why that purity is important of, listening to Baba. Listening means what he has to say, not in words, but what he has to say is very, very clear. And that's the most important part, to understand what Baba is saying. So that purity helps that concentration, and purity is helping to communicate just through the feelings. But after, when Baba has shared what Baba has to share, that's where awake feelings begin. It's like a time to, like Baba just becomes like awake Bab Dada, and the very, very powerful feelings. So when I'm coming back, I'm coming with Drishti sharing, then message, but also in the end, awake feelings. Very, very powerful, very joyful also, because one feels very happy, being with Baba. And so that's what exactly happens. And then, so I think I have feeling that 80% experience can be for everyone, can do lot more than that. You remember Dadi Janki used to say, I've never gone in trance, but I get accurate message.
Yes.
So I think everyone can do, pay little more attention on the intellect, not to, also change the habit of having bad feeling, or because everyone is good, everyone in their own way, good, making good efforts. And so not hold anything for anyone is really, that helps in this corporeal world, but also when we go to angelic world, subtle world, right?
There's so much more I want to ask you on this, but I want to stop so that we could do the Abyak journey. But Sister Mohini, when you go to Baba on Thursday, I'm going to be there with you with my pure intellect. And you remind him for me that I still am waiting to have that experience.
Okay. I will definitely.
Okay, Om Shanti.
No, Bhumi is saying you can ask if there is anything else.
Well, I wanted to ask you that I know that your line of intellect is very, very clear. And I know that, well, this is my assumption, that when you go to Baba, you don't carry any desires. You don't carry any likes or dislikes. Like, for instance, if people are sending messages, you don't have a bias. And I know that there is that cleanliness of your intellect because I know of your healing powers. And so you also are seated on that seat of a detached observer when Baba is giving you the message. And so you're able to bring the clarity. I also wanted to underpin this, but also I know that when Dadi Gulzar sits to go into trance before Baba comes into her body, do you also go on that journey with her when you're sitting? So you go, when she's going to the abject region, and she has to then stay in that silence, and then Baba enters her body and her consciousness is just in that subtle region. Are you able to track that journey that she goes if you're sitting in front of her with the clear line of your intellect?
Yeah, definitely. It's when I sit there, I just exactly, like when Baba is entering, how Baba enters, and what Baba, I do have all the feelings and experience, and I feel everyone can have that at least. So as you were saying, that keeping intellect clear is clean. When it's clean, it's very clear too. Because then within 1 second, no, anything, within 1 second answer comes, like, and as I said that when I say it or it's applied, it comes true. As I said, I don't say, oh, I don't know if it's Baba, it's my thoughts, and because that is something, a big Maya also, no? So the self, when it is truth, then there is a lot of self-trust also.
Mhm.
Yeah, but experience of being awake with awake Bab Dada, yeah, definitely I feel.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I know it's time to stop, but maybe my next session with you, whenever that is to really explore how Daddy Janki, even though she never went into trance, was able to get those clear messages from Baba, and what was the purity in her that allowed her to do that. That might be a nice conversation to have with you sometime later in the year. So thank you very much. I really enjoyed talking to you. I learned so much more, and I was refreshed a lot from things of the past that suddenly are so meaningful in the present, of being with Baba, being with you, understanding purity. So thanks, Dadi, for inspiring you to speak on purity, and thank you for making us feel our greatness through these inspiring days of purity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gayatri,
Everyone is
Sister Gayatri.
enjoying. Yeah.
Gayatri, I'm getting messages that please take your time and finish all the questions. Everyone is really
I
enjoying.
finished my questions. I'm finished. I'm finished my questions. But there's some requests. One of the things that is very important for us, you see, when whether we're hearing the seniors speak and we're getting all these lovely thoughts from them, but they're not just lovely thoughts and words. They're actually yuktis for us to use. And if we don't use them, we're going to end up enjoying them, but then we're going to feel the lack. And so in asking Sister Mohini these questions, I feel, Sister Mohini, wouldn't it be lovely if we, each days that what you have said, that we would take it and apply it to our lives, and not just write you an experience, but you see the change in us. And that change in us would make us feel that, yes, what you're saying is they're not just words, but they're like power from Baba coming into our lives and making the difference in our lives. So, for instance, Sister Mohini, Baba is going to start, we're going to look at the transmissions soon in October. It's going to start. And we say Baba season is starting. How do we listen to Avyak Bab Dada as though it is something that he is there, his presence is there, it is as if Daddy Gulzar is literally there, and we're not looking at it on a screen? What are some of the tips you would give to us to make that experience a living one, and to make the words that Baba is saying something that we need at this moment in time, and we need to apply it to our lives?
Yeah. When I am in Madhuban and I'm listening, of course, I'm watching also. So one time, one very senior brother came to me. He said, I was watching, you were like in trance and listening to Baba. I said, I was listening as if it's not old Murli, it's not revision, but he's talking to me. We have to feel he's talking to me. And when he's talking to me, you are touched, then you reflect, and then dharana also happens in a very natural way. So I will suggest people go all the way, because it's Baba's season. For people to say Baba doesn't come anyway, it's only video. I don't feel that's the right thing. They should go because Baba will be coming and Baba will speak to us. And then you will have real experience and power and love, and you will really be lost into that. So that's what I would suggest, that, it's real. It's real. Baba is there, Listen that way. That will help a lot.
Mm. Mm. Because Baba is always living, right? He never leaves the body and go anywhere. So we can't treat him as though he's left the body and gone just because Daddy Gulzar has left the body. Baba is always living. And so we should see him like that. So yes, Sister Muni, thank you again. And I'm
Om Shanti. Good night, everyone. Om Shanti. Good night.